Howdy there, folks. How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to another episode of our Tekkit Legends 25-25-25 Challenge, where over the last several episodes, we built a quaint little stable that I'm starting to see the flaws in. Who runs this place? Where do they live? Where do you check in? When you drop off your horse, do you pay somebody? Do they give them hay? Like, how does that work, eh? I guess we need to make an extension of this place, maybe out the back or something, where the guy lives and he stores hay bales for the horses or something. I don't know. Today we're working on this monstrosity. This horrible, horrible monstrosity that I originally really liked the look of and has now grown very much out of control, but there's no going back now. We're just going to have to see it through. I would like to be able to like reverse the design, just go back to where it was and leave it there, but I don't think we can do that at this point. I don't think there is any turning back. I think that all we can do, you know, it's much like in life, you can't go back. Who says you can't go home? Hannah Montana? Who says you're not perfect? Whoever sings that one? I do. I say that. I've made that determination. So we're just going to have to press forward with it, you know? Just pressing on. All minor stress is going, gone. We're just going to see where this gets us. I'm not going to sit back and take it anymore. I'm done with that. I've got one foot out the door. To go back to where I was would just be wrong. So I'm pressing on. So I'm assuming we're not going to have any windows on these walls. I'm just going to go ahead and fill these corner walls in a bit. And maybe we can have some sort of an outside thing going on here, like a post or something up there. It is odd that this isn't just squared here, you know, from like here to here and open. I guess I could do that. Hold on a minute. Like if I took, what if I did this? Right? How does that? It looks a bit weird from underneath, but you can kind of see where I'm going with that. And then these walls can be out here instead. No, you know what? No, absolutely not. No, get rid of that. Too late. Like I said, sticking with what we've done. Living with the consequences of our sins. Who says you're not perfect? Who says you're not worth it? How's that song go? This stupid song go? No, it's fine. You've got every right to a beautiful life. No, you don't. No, no one has a right to a beautiful life. You have a right to life, you know, in general, liberty, and you have the right to pursue happiness, but you don't have a right to happiness. Let's not be ridiculous here. Good Lord. You know what that is? That's a song of an entitled generation. I'm not getting into it. Let's just build a house. It's going to be fun, guys. What's wrong with why am I like? I tell you what it is. It's when you're sick, right? And you got nothing really you can do all day but just sit around and you think. And you sit around and you think about like all these snotty-nosed children ruining society. Why am I doing this? I need to stop. Be strong. Be strong, Reese. Be strong, Professor. Like my mother. Like Harry Potter's mom. Hold it together. Talk about something besides game journalists. Folks, have you played Dragon Quest XI-S on the Switch? I mean, it's the only place to play Dragon Quest XI-S. Is that what S stands for? Switch? It's something of an elusive age, the definitive edition. I like it. I like it quite a bit. I think it's a pretty solid gaming experience overall. And, I mean, there are certainly some quirks with it that I could live the rest of my life without ever having to deal with again. For example, let's just do a review of Dragon Quest XI-S. If I do a review of it right now, then that makes that game a tax write-off, because this video is getting monetized. Therefore, it's a business, like, it's a product, and therefore a business expense. Congratulations, everyone. I haven't been playing the game for fun. I've been playing it for the purpose of review, and here we go. Buckle up. So Dragon Quest XI-S on the Switch technically runs flawlessly. I haven't had any sort of problems with it, no slowdown or anything like that. Visually, it looks fantastic, keeping in mind I've only ever played it in handheld mode on the Switch Lite. I have never once hooked it into a television on my regular Switch, so I don't know how. I'm sure the PS4 version looks better. Music is great, but very repetitive. Like, the battle music, as far as I can tell, is the same in every battle you get into. And if you're doing some leveling, it's very annoying. It gets very old very quickly. But I normally listen to it, or I normally play the game while I'm listening to a podcast or something, so the music's there, but I'm not really listening to it, so it doesn't bother me. But if you're the type of person who's really like buckled in and ready for an audible feast for the ears, you will probably be disappointed by this game. Because even though I think it was MIDI tracks on the PS4, but it's like fully orchestrated on the Switch, and it sounds great. Like, the music itself sounds good. It's composed well. It's very beautiful. Carpenters, that's what I'm looking for. It's good music. It's just there's a limited selection, and you hear some of the same tracks a lot. It's one of the games, much like Pokemon Eevee, where you can see the bad guys in the overworld, and if you don't want to fight them, you can generally walk around them. So there's no random encounters, thank goodness, because I hate those in video games. It just ruins the flow of whatever you're doing. It's unbearable and should never be in any video game ever. That's just my opinion. I don't know, maybe you feel differently about it, but I hate random encounters in video games. They're the worst. I've always felt that way. And this doesn't have those in the main game. And I say in the main game because it does have them in one area. And we're about to get into the one negative about this game that I can think of off the top of my head. I love the game. Still enjoying it. Haven't finished it yet. Maybe by the time this is published, I'll have finished it. I'm pretty close to the end. I'm about to go fight the big bad. But there's these little guys, this might be considered a spoiler, called Tockles. And they give you passwords, and you go to an alternative dimension, or an alternate dimension that's 2D. And, you got all your characters become sprites. It's pretty cool. And you go into these books, and the books are the past. And it's different regions based off previous Dragon Quest games. Now, I've never played a Dragon Quest game besides Dragon Quest Builders and the current Dragon Quest XI's on the Switch. So I can't tell you whether or not... I can't tell you what the different games are being referenced here are. But what I can tell you is when you go through into these periods, I guess the older games had random encounters in them. And the new one has random encounters too, I suppose, to be consistent with the originals. And it is the most annoying thing on the planet because they happen way too frequently, like all of the time. Just all of the time. Random encounters constantly. They're not fun because I think maybe because I'm such a high level and these are designed to be, you're supposed to be able to play them at any time. So I think I might be technically over-leveled for them, potentially. And so what they ultimately become is me begrudgingly dueling it out with... It's mostly just me holding down, or not even holding down about it. It's just me spamming the... when the battle starts, normally in the base game, in the actual game, you control your characters and you tell them what to do one at a time. And as soon as you tell them, okay, do this attack or do this attack, they do their action... You move on to your next character or whoever is going to attack next. Like if it's the bad guys, you move on to them. And you kind of get to see the outcome of your attacks. But when you go back to retro mode, when you're doing the Tockle passwords, you don't get the immediate gratification of seeing how your attacks perform against the enemy. Instead, you choose everything you want to do. And then it all happens in a run, and then the bad guys do their thing, or sometimes they cut in between you guys. But the problem is, you might need to heal everyone at some point in the middle of your turn, and you can't do that in the olden days. If you're in a particularly tough fight, because there are some bosses in this period of the game that you're fighting. I'm just having so much trouble trying to explain this, but. Because you can't see what happens until you've selected what you want all four characters to do, and all four characters have their turn. Like, you can't just have the hero attack and then see what happens, and then say, okay, Serena, heal everybody. No, you have to say hero attack, Hendrik attack. I guess Serena heal, because maybe we'll need healing? Maybe? We don't know. We won't find out until the end of the turn. It's really frustrating. That's against bosses, though. When you're fighting just normal enemies, you will be fighting normal enemies every 10 seconds because they just randomly... They're not even in the overworld. That's the thing. If they were in the overworld and I could walk around them and avoid them like I do in the base game, we'd be fine. You know, and I like the combat in the base game. I normally don't like turn-based combat, but it's fine in the base game. But when you go into the toggle passwords, randomly they materialize, and you got no choice but to just spam A to have all your characters do a basic attack and wipe them out, and then you walk 10 steps, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you're just trying to explore the area, and you're trying to find some things. That's all you want to do, is you want to find the things, so that you can do the things, and then once you've done the things, you can leave. But you can't. It's so terrible. And I get it. I get what they're doing. It's like, oh, this is how it was in the original games. Okay, you know what? That wasn't a good part of the original games. I never played the original games, but I'm just going to throw out there that maybe, you know, maybe there's a reason you stopped doing that in the new one. Because it was awful and no one liked it, and it's archaic game design. So why bring it back for these throwback sections? You have a chance to fix something that was a trope of the past, and you don't, or at least make it optional. Like in the old days, you couldn't have a bunch of random bad guys running around the battlefield because it would slow down the SNES, or whatever these games came out on. You can do that now. It's not a problem. Just make it optional. Say, hey, do you want random combat? No. And then just have the bad guys appear as sprites. And then let me choose whether or not I want to accidentally bump into them or intentionally bump into them or avoid them. Just saying, there's no reason that they couldn't do that. Where's glass? Why did I type in window? I want dark, black stained glass, please. So that is my review. That's such like a terrible review. I haven't even explained what the game is. I've just explained one of the things that irks me about it. Okay, so you play as the hero. And without spoiling anything, you start off the game and you have to, it's like your birthday, and you have to go out on a grand quest, and you meet all these fun, wacky characters along the way, and you can listen to it with the Japanese voice acting and English dubs, subtitles, and that's fine if that's, you know, the sort of thing you do. I don't. I like the English dubs because they're terrible. And I like a good terrible dub. There's something about a terrible dub that I find to be so very charming, and I don't know what it is. I've got no idea, but listen, the voice acting's not horrible. It's just a lot of the characters do not fit. Like, the voices do not fit the characters at all. There's a mermaid in particular that's part of the main quest line that's just, she does not fit her character at all. And every time I hear her, I want to bawl. The mermaids rhyme in this game when they talk for some reason. It's just, it is horrendous, and I love it. I'm sure the Japanese voice acting is so much better, but I don't want it to be good. I like that it is bad. But the characters are great. Silvando is fantastic. Love him. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Eric is great. I think I probably... I was going to say Eric might be my favorite, but now that I'm thinking about it, Eric might not be my favorite. I do love Eric, though. Eric's great. Hendrick's a treat. Rab is funny. Serena is really good. And what is her name? Jade? Jade is smoking waifu material right there. I never understood the waifu thing. I was like, these aren't real people. You'll know that, right? But I don't know. If I could get a Jade body pillow, you know, that might be the start of it. I get a Jade body pillow. Next thing you know, I get a trench coat and a pipe and a fedora, and I'm living my best life. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe that's my future. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so you go up the stairs here. I guess we could just have the same thing up here as we do down there, where we just have immediately, like the same layout for the rooms, but the rooms are a wee bit bigger because of the size difference, I suppose. Are they actually going to be any bigger? Hold on a minute. Longer, I guess, is what's going to happen. Let's not have where these are. Let's not have these be carpenter's blocks. And the reason is, I don't want to waste a bunch of glowstone underneath them. That's not going to get used. I know that just does not make any sense at all because, you know, you can't. It's not like you're going to see that there's glowstone. It's not like we're hurting for materials, and it's not like you're going to see that there's unused glowstone under there, but still, you know where I'm going with this. So I guess we'll just build straight off of those pillars down there. And again, there's no reason to connect these pillars. It's not like there's a structural advantage. I was a bit shocked by that, even though I do have it turned off. Even so, we're going to go ahead through here, and we're going to mock up these walls a bit. And I guess then we'll head out. Do I recommend playing Dragon Quest XI's on the Switch? If you like turn-based strategy... It's not strategy. It's not strategy. I should correct myself. If you like turn-based RPGs, this is a pretty good one. And it's a good long story. And if you like bad English voice acting, this is pretty good. It's a lot of people doing accents that they're clearly not their native accents. And then some that are pretty believable. I don't know. They might be their native accents, but some definitely aren't. If that's the sort of thing that tickles your fancy, go for it. I will say that I normally don't like turn-based games, but I'm enjoying this one. It's quite charming, and I recommend at least giving it a go if you think you might be into it. And if it turns out you don't like it, hey, oh well, that's life sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes someone gives you a recommendation for a thing, and you try it, and it turns out you just have different tastes than that person. Nothing wrong with that, Life is the spice of variety. Thank you folks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later. Bye!